Well, what a special night Saturday at the Kohl Center. Mark Johnson's number 10 was raised to the rafters, the first Badger hockey player to have his number retired. Unfortunately, the Wisconsin hockey team struggled against Ohio State. Now the Badgers hit the road to play Notre Dame. I'm Ryan Posick, and head coach Tony Granato joins me next on the Badger Hockey Digest.
Unfortunately, my dad obviously isn't here, but I know he's here in spirit, and I think what makes it special is not only having my mom here, but having my dad's name on the ice, and certainly very emotional.
Well, Tony, I don't know what more we can add about Saturday night at the Kohl Center when Mark Johnson's jersey number went up to the rafters. That was pretty special.
It was, and by the way, you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Thank you. And what do you call it?
emceeing
it.
Yeah.
Yes. And the whole festivity and what we had hoped for as a program with all the alumni that were able to come in, lots of USA Hockey people come in, lots of NHL people either called or came back in to show how grateful they were for their time with Mark. So I think our fans enjoyed it. Mark certainly deserved that, and it feels good to have him being honored in such a special way. So that went great. The game wasn't quite as exciting as I hoped it would be. We had, the big stage because we had such a great crowd. It was a good hockey game. There were parts of the games where I thought we could have been a little bit better and taken advantage of some situations. But, again, Ohio State's, experienced. They got a lot of older players that know how to play the game, and they were patient and took advantage of their chances or the mistakes that we made to turn them into scoring chances. So we got to learn from it and move on. But all in all, it was the tough loss on Friday in overtime, where we played our hearts out and just came up a little bit short. So I love the guys' effort. I love how hard they're playing. And right now we're just a little bit young and raw and not able to win the games when they get on the line like both of those games. So big weekend coming up at Notre Dame. Looking forward to getting on the road and playing in a building that's tough to play against another experienced team that we're going to have to find a way to beat.
Yeah, this is a learning process for your squad.
It's a learning process.
For your coaches too,
absolutely.
For everybody.
And again, I've repeated myself over and over. I'm happy with how hard our guys have played and where they've come. The results aren't there. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you evaluate progress and how you're developing as a team and program, you got to put the results on the back burner and look at the individual performances and where you're going as a group. And the foundation that we're trying to put in place for years and years to come is there. And the freshman class, the sophomore class have done what we've asked them to do and put us in a really good spot. So next year's recruiting class comes in. It's a little bit different type of player. It's more offensive players and more high-end skill up front especially. That should be able to help us in situations where there are tight games and power play situations, and offensively put a lot more stress on the other team's defense.
Yeah. One of Tony's mentors was in town this past weekend too. We'll tell you a little bit more about Grant Stanbrook in just a moment.
The Learfield Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or at L Directors Cup on Twitter or Facebook. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
On Friday night at the Kohl Center, Grant Stanbrook dropped the ceremonial first puck. He was honored for his service to Wisconsin hockey for 11 years with Bob Johnson and Jeff Sauer. And you told us last week what type of mentor he was to you. After the game, I had a chance with Rob Andringa to talk with Grant, and we stood around for 30 minutes, and he talked about your hockey program. So I know you've had a chance to chat with him about your current team. What's the feedback been like?
Well, he's still a hockey fanatic. He's still a coach. So we send him lots of our games. He'll review our games and call back and say, hey, this is what I really like of what you guys are doing. And he's the same way as me. He's seen so much of the positive things on our young players, on how we play. He can see how close we are. And he's always, offering a little bit of advice, saying, hey, Tone, don't forget about looking to see if you guys can improve in this area or that area. And he is as good of a coach and good of a person as I've ever had to deal with, and all of my time he's taught me more about the game individually and as a team. And I love picking his brain. So I know our alumni, our fans, lots of our fans have heard of Grant from the standpoint that he recruited all of those players, the Chelioses and the Flatleys and drivers, and he helped on the skill development of Mark and all of the other players that have come through. But you know, for all of us that were lucky enough to play for him and know him, know the impact that he had on us and our program. So it was great to have him back. Hopefully we can have him back many, many, many more times. I'd love to get him around so our players can learn a little bit from him as well. So it was great to have him in town.
Yeah, and I wish I had specific news about Keandre Miller, but the injury he suffered Saturday night when he went hard into the end boards, apparently not as serious as first thought. That's good news.
It's good news. You know, he won't play this weekend. He's going to be banged up for a little bit, but you know, the knee is good. I think the most important thing is you know, when you hit that hard, there's so many bad things that go through your mind on what possibly it could have been. And fortunately, the ligaments are good, the knee's stable, and hopefully he won't be out too long.
Yeah, boy, he plays full speed.
He plays hard, and that's for sure. And at the end boards there, I don't know if
No
it's
good,
end boards
man.
ever been running as hard as they were on Saturday night.
All right, well, thanks for your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure, that's Badgers head coach Tony Granato. Wisconsin at Notre Dame this weekend. Friday night's game starts at 6. Saturday's game at 5 o'clock Central Time. Both games on the Badger Sports Network and iHeartRadio, and both games on the TV too, NBCSN. For Tony Granato and Jay Williams, who worked his way through the snow to get here, I'm Brian Posick. Thanks for watching the Badger Hockey Digest.